Good morning. Good morning, good morning, Earth citizens. Not that it's necessarily morning for you, but that's often when I make these videos. Today I wanted to talk about language, the aesthetics of language, what is language, and the different facets of it. I'll just delve right in. For me, language has become a very intricate part of who I am. I can only imagine if we used telepathy. I imagine if we used telepathy, it would be, instead of a voice in your head like me talking to you, it would be more like me showing you things. Like, if you could show someone what you mean, it would be much more efficient than trying to explain in words what you mean. And what I mean is, words take slightly longer because it's like you have this shared dictionary and you're reaching into your shared dictionary to convey whatever you're trying to say, and then they're reaching into theirs to interpret what you're trying to say, and hopefully it translates well, and then you have an understanding, or at least a general understanding. But language, as far as words itself, is a very kind of old thing at this point, I feel like, but it's a novel thing, because it's not just in the way, or it's not just the utilitarian aspect of, like, I need to say something to someone, so I have to speak to them because it's the only way, or right, same thing, essentially. It's language. It's written language and spoken language. Oh no, is there an accident? So what I was getting to is that language, even though it has a utilitarian value, it can be aesthetically aligned and aesthetically formed. And there's books that are perfect examples of this. Books like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like Finnegan's Wake, like Shakespeare or Terence McKenna. These figures had a knack with using language and words and syntax, elegant elaborations, and there's so many words that mean a similar thing or an adjacent thing to another word, and that's an interesting thing, because we have a choice to, like, what word we want to use. And I make up words, like, you could say polarity, or like dualistic, I guess. And one day I accidentally said dualarity, and I was like, oh, I should do that. It's like being confuzzled, like confused and puzzled at the same time. Just fun stuff like that. And the English language is like it's just very screwy, and there's all kinds of exceptions to every rule. It breaks all its own rules, and yet there's a correctness in correct spelling. And I dig my heels in at this. I'm like, spellings whoever came to the conclusion that this is the spelling for all the words, and I know they all have a background in like Anglo-Saxon or Latin, Greek, a lot of like all the languages, because we borrow from all these languages, which kind of makes it cool. But I was gonna say, as a kid, I struggled so much with reading and writing. When I finally kind of got a grip on it, I thought to myself, like, why is it so not practical when it comes to how things are spelled? Why can't we just spell them how they sound? And so I thought about it, and I was like, well, why don't I just make an alphabet with every phonetic sound in it? Then we can just spell things as they sound. The only problem with that is there are things like words, and I could be wrong on this, but like homophones, right? Homophones that are spelled different, like which are we talking about, right? And it's the different spellings that differentiate them. But in context of what we're saying, it usually you can guess the word it's talking about, whether it's to someone, or you want to do it to, or it's the number 2. So what I did in this alphabet is I made symbols for every sound. There ended up being just a few more characters in this alphabet that I made than our actual alphabet, but there were also less in some ways because, well, I'll say there were more in some ways because I made letters for sounds like TH, and it's like there's also like the and them, as opposed to like thick or through or something, you know. And so there's all those kind of things, and there's CH, and there's all these different sounds, and we use a lot of the sounds. So for the English language, I didn't have to do every single syntax. I don't know, that's not the right word. Pronunciation, there we go. I like finding words. They are like kind of puzzle pieces, and a good word, when you put it into a sentence, is very satisfying, like the right word. Not necessarily like a big word, but just a word that is apt. Here's the word. A word that fits perfectly for your meaning, and doesn't require a lot of words and a lot of like this. I even do that too much. I watched one of my own videos, and I was like, I gotta cut down on the likes as far as how many times I'm saying like. Any other likes, I'll take as many of those. Yeah, so language is a very interesting thing as far as a flow of consciousness and how it's created within us. It's a thing of consciousness, and it's kind of like the long division of consciousness, is how I've said it before. Whereas consciousness is more of a sight. At least to me, I perceive it more as a vision. But it's not necessarily vision, it's just like vision, where it's all before you. It's all there without any words having to be inscribed. Because words are kind of a one-dimensional kind of thing. They're kind of a linear kind of thing. And maybe... So find a better way to say that, if it's one-dimensional, but I feel like it is pretty one-dimensional, whereas vision is at least three-dimensional, and probably more dimensions than that if you can perceive them. So there's lots to be said on language, no pun intended, and we even borrow from different languages, like déjà vu, like je ne sais quoi. There's lots of words that are borrowed from other languages that have their own meaning that we don't really have a meaning for, so we just, in our like alphabet, spell out their word. So I would love to learn other languages, and sign language, a silent language. That would be really cool. I started to learn it at one point, and like any language, it takes a lot of commitment to get to a fluid kind of place with it. But even people, like, that would be a cool second language to learn in school, to be able to communicate without sounds. And if it was more ubiquitous, if everyone grew up with that. Plus, we could talk to people who can't hear, and they could be more included, because more people would know how to communicate to them. So I should probably keep this video kind of short. I've been going up to 20 minutes, but to be fair, I don't often get through a 20-minute video myself. Although I have been getting other people's videos that are similar to mine, just talking about different topics and anecdotal experiences and appreciation, and just appreciation for the little things and being in the moment. I've been getting more videos like that, which is really helpful, because I like to hear what other people, as like myself, are streaming consciously. And yeah, we're just always streaming consciously. And there is a beauty to it. There is a bliss to consciousness. And there's lots to be said on it. We'll do another video on it at some point. I'd love to hear other people's elaborations on consciousness. And it's just an ongoing ontological topic. The mystery of language and how we use it, and the inflection of things, and how we say them, and how much that is a part of language. It makes up for, like, the expression is what makes up for just what the mere words can't really convey, is a way to say it. I'm trying to think of an example, because I had one the other day. Gosh, I'll probably think of one after this video, and then I'll have to just throw it in the comments for y'all. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video.